Me a run for my money. There is nobody, no one that run me. So give me a run for my money. Sipping bubbly, feeling lovely. Living lovely. Just lovely.
I wanna be with you. And I wanna be with. I wanna be with you. And I wanna be with. I wanna be with you.
Me, just love me.
If I didn't ride blade on curve, would you still? If I'm in my mind at work, would you still? Keep it 100, I'd rather you trust me than to. Keep it a whole 100, don't got you, I got nothing. I got something. Hold up, we gon' function.
Hey, no one's
Feeling like Tyson with it. Tyson.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Happy Hump Day. Happy Wednesday out there. Remember, don't be humping too much. But thank you guys for being here, joining me with the Mykell Mathieu Show. I've been on a little hiatus. On the weekend, I was on a cruise to Mexico. Had a great time with the fam. Ensenada, to be exact, from Long Beach to Ensenada. But it was really cool. Really enjoyed the time. But I'm going to talk about that later. You know you're here with the Mykell Mathieu Show. The show that is getting you with the one and only Mykell Mathieu as you join me on my journey to reach and secure my Hollywood star there on the Walk of Fame in Hollywood, California, South Central's very own. I'm here to talk sports, culture, entertainment, breaking news, whichever it is, I am going to talk about it, especially if you're not tapped into socials. I'm going to let you know the craziness that's going on with X, Instagram, and etc. But I thank you guys for joining me. And we're going to start, in the sports world where I do my thing as a sports journalist. The Los Angeles Clippers making moves. And I kind of predicted it a few weeks ago here on this exact show. I said, hey, they made this trade for John Collins. They aren't done. Bradley Beal, once he's bought out, he's going to come. And Chris Paul is going to be a part of the team. And both of those moves has happened. And the Clippers look like a dangerous team. Yes, they're old. A lot of guys who are towards the end of their career. But hey, in today's basketball, guys are playing a lot longer. The veteran guys are finding ways to keep themselves in shape so that they can play and then playing well. And with the Clippers, they have so much depth. If you looked at the NBA Finals, you saw two teams in the Pacers and the Oklahoma City Thunder who had depth. And you need to have that. Being top heavy, honestly, that has never really been the way. Even when you look at the super teams of the recent era, like the Golden State Warriors, the Miami Heat, and whomever else you put in that category, they always had depth to go with their star players. And it's a team of James Harden. It's a team led by Kawhi Leonard. They are the star guys. But then you have Avishka Zubac coming off his best year. You add in an athlete like John Collins. Off the bench, you have Chris Dunn, Derrick Jones. I didn't even mention Bradley Beal, who's going to fit in perfectly to that Norman Powell spot there. You have Chris Paul, who's going to help. He's going to be somebody you don't have to play every game. So he should be well rested because you have a Chris Dunn on the roster. But you have Brook Lopez, who was a great addition for a team that needed a stretch big. They got one of the better ones in the league. The Clippers has done everything right this offseason, especially when you compare it to the Los Angeles Lakers. And I know the Lakers are in a much different situation because you have a 40-year-old in LeBron James who is being paid so much money. You got Luka Doncic who's being paid so much money. So it's kind of hard to do everything that you need to when two guys are making that much money. But for the Clippers, they found a way to give Coach Tyronn Lue everything that's needed. So there's no excuse this year why they shouldn't be very, very competitive and have a chance to fight and possibly win the Western Conference. They were, a fifth seed last year and took the Denver Nuggets to 7 games and came up short. They are a team, I feel they got everything right. And I had to talk about this. I had to catch up on it because I've been away for quite some time here with the Mykell Mathieu Show. But I'm just excited for someone who covers the Los Angeles Clippers, has a show called Full Clip Clippers Unleashed. And to see how good that team was. And, it sucked that they lost the way they did in game 7. But now they have stacked the deck even more. And I've been saying it all offseason. And a lot of my Laker bros and friends and, fellow Lakerettes or whatever you want to call us, Laker Nation. Um, as a journalist, you got to be somebody that's open-minded, can't show too much bias. And as a Laker fan, I've been saying it. Hey, the Clippers look like the better team in Los Angeles. When it comes to Los Angeles basketball, it's going to be the Clippers, I feel, this year that will make the most noise. And I felt like that last postseason. I felt that the Clippers would go further. I thought they could knock off the Nuggets and give the Thunder a scare, where I just think that the Lakers with LeBron, he fades late in the season. They just don't have the team built for Luka to be at his best. And I still don't think they have that. And it's going to take a year or two to get exactly where they need to be. But I'm just excited to see what the Clippers going to do this year. As long as they stay healthy, that's a key thing. Because Bradley Beal, we know Kawhi and his history of injuries, and others, they have to be healthy. But if they're healthy, the Clippers will be once again a top 4 to 5 team in the Western Conference. They are a team that's built to play playoff type of basketball. And if Bradley Beal can surprise some people, and Chris Paul can still have something in his tank, man, they have a great chance to do some magical things there at Balmerville in Inglewood, California at the Intuit Dome. So shout out to the Clippers, making things happy. Great to see Chris Paul back in LA. I've been saying it all along. Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan should be the first 3 jerseys retired for that organization. They aren't the Lakers. It ain't about being in a Hall of Fame and being a championship player and playing there for your whole career and having 3 or more rings. It ain't about that, or breaking records and things like that. Like, it's not about that for the Clippers. They are a team that has no one in the rafters. So why not it be Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, and DeAndre Jordan? Lob City made the Clippers a thing. Yes, the Clippers were solid in the early 2000s with Elton Brand, Sam Cassell, Corey Maggette, Lamar Odom and the Knuckleheads, Darius Miles, and Quentin Richardson, had people talking about them, but they didn't really matter in basketball in LA until the Lob City squad with Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, and DeAndre Jordan. Honestly, I'm going to say that team during that time where the Lakers sat after Kobe's retirement, the Los Angeles Clippers was the biggest thing in LA when it came to basketball. The highlight plays to winning games, the rivalry with the Warriors, that was great basketball there. And I believe Chris Paul is coming back to the right team. Going anywhere else wouldn't have made no sense. Going to the Lakers wouldn't have made no sense. Playing with the Clippers was meant for him to retire as a Clipper. He's already doing TV shows, and because of the relationships he was able to create with his time with the Clippers. But it's only right that he's here. CP3, the LA is about to retire 2 CP3s. You just got Candace Parker with the Sparks. Now you're going to have Chris Paul with the Los Angeles Clippers. But I'm excited he's finishing here. I know he wanted to be close to his family. And it was the right choice. So shout out to him. And then he's going to a team that, honestly, if they're healthy and everything can go right, they have a chance to help Chris Paul finally bring home a championship. But I'm saying it now, Steve Ballmer, I don't know if you talked about it or you and your team, but I believe that Chris Paul, DeAndre Jordan, Blake Griffin should be the first 3 jerseys retired for that organization. Then, of course, you can throw up Bob McAdoo, what he did with the Buffalo Braves, who later became the Clippers. But Chris Paul, DeAndre Jordan, Blake Griffin, they deserve their numbers retired. So I love Chris Paul returning to LA. One of my favorite point guards in the history of the game. It's well-deserving for him to go out the right way. And we're going to keep it on that PG position, If you don't follow me on socials, they call me Mykell the PG. Shout out to my old show, Courtside Radio, and my Courtside Radio bros. But Jeff Teague, former point guard in the league in the Atlanta Hawks, he said it's a joke. But being in the media, you hear stories, there's conversations that's had about LeBron James. And on Jeff Teague's show, he joked about LeBron James taking HGH on Club 520, the podcast, and he's like, man, Miami, LeBron, y'all don't remember he was on the HGH? Like, he was out of this world. He was out, they said, for a lower back injury. He missed 3 weeks and he came back slimmer, but he was going crazy. These are things people are talking about. Like, I hate to say it, and you don't want to believe it, because it's LeBron James, one of the greatest, not only basketball players to ever play, one of the greatest American athletes to ever do it. But there has been murmurs out there that, hey, has LeBron been juicing? Is he still on the juice? And for me, I'm not putting that on that man, because I don't know what's going on. But whenever I hear he spent $1 million on his body, what does that mean? I've been wondering for a while, what does he spends $1 million on his body mean? And for me, if there's a secret for the reason why you're looking so great at 40, like Rashad McCants said on Gil's Arena, what's the secret? Share it with the young players, share it with fellow vets so that they can prolong their careers and try to stack up as much money as they can get and collect more accolades. Because if there's a blueprint there, why not give it, right? Mamba mentality, give everything you got, show up at 4 o'clock, put your work in, work on every aspect of your game. We know that. You know what I'm saying? The dream shake and all that. There's stuff that help you with that. What you got to do to get yourself right. But if you got something for the body to help athletes prolong their body and it's legal, you need to share the wealth. If not, people are going to continue to look at it and be like, what is going on with LeBron? Why is he able to sustain his greatness for so long? And is he getting a little help? And it's something that's probably going to be discussed in the next 10 to 20 years, like after he retired, because like I said, being in the media, you hear murmurs that you don't know what's true, you don't know what's false, but it is something that is being discussed. But you already know Clutch Sports was like, hey, shut that down, boy. And it looks like Jeff Teague might be a part of that team a little bit with the way that he's, finding ways to always bash Kobe, which is crazy. But he said his joke and it got the internet talking, and people are like, man, why are you doing this? That's a hater move, or et cetera. Or, man, is LeBron juicing? Has he ever juiced in his career? It will always be a discussion because of his physical build, the way that he was able to play to avoid major injuries, especially when younger. And then the fact that he is 40 years old, still playing this good. And like McCann said, if there is a blueprint that's legal, share the wealth, man. We would love to see a lot of these players play until they're 40, 45, hell, 50 years old if possible. But if not, it's going to have people asking questions, and people best believe have questions. How is LeBron able to continue to do this? And people are going to continue to talk more. Hey, Jeff Teague is just the first one. Like, he's the first one to really come out with it as a former basketball player. I know a former UFC fighter talked about LeBron and his team having connections to Balco, and people kind of swept it under the rug. But it's going to be interesting what we hear about this. What Jeff Teague, he already apologized on social media. Will he apologize on the show next time record? But I'm telling y'all, that LeBron and steroids conversation will not die anytime soon. So be ready for that. Keeping it hoop. Elijah Arenas already dealing with a lot. Car accident that could have nearly took his life. Thank God that he's still here with us. But now he commits his freshman season after tearing his meniscus. A guy that many thought would be a top 10 possibly pick in next year's NBA draft is going to be out. And it sucks for USC because, Juju is already out. So they are going to try to find their way without a big name like Juju on the women's side. Everybody was excited. 5-star Elijah Arenas coming to the Trojans, and now he won't be there. So sucks for the USC basketball program, but that is the breaking news coming out recently from ESPN and Chris Haynes, is that Elijah Arenas could miss his freshman season with a tear. And it sucks because you want to see LA basketball booming on all levels. College, pros, we already know high school basketball are some of the best in the country, but to see this type of hit to the Trojans, it really sucks. But get well, Elijah. Hopefully you can come back better than ever to keep it LA and take it to the women's side, the W. Shout out to them LA Sparks, man. Like I said, I cover them fully with my show, LA Sparks Weekly, with my co-host DJ Tracy Trees. Make sure y'all tap in LA Sparks Weekly. And we cover everything Los Angeles Sparks on the court, off the court. We got you covered. And of course, here I'm always show the Sparks love and show the WNBA as a whole some love. But the Sparks are on a 3-game winning streak. They only sit 2.5 back from the 7th seed at 9-14. People were talking about the Sparks, saying this and that. Even local media here in LA saying, man, this team is terrible. It's a debacle. It's not great, but they are finding a way. And first they won their first back-to-back games, and now they win 3 straight. And it's all led by their top 4, I will say, who's doing their part. And that's Kelsey Plum, of course, but De'Erica Hamby, who has been balling. 24-14 in the last game. She is their go-to player. You can feed her in the post. She can catch it outside and do something. And then on the pick and roll, she is dangerous, looking Karl Malone-like with her play off of the pick and roll. But then you got Azurá Stevens, who has been consistent and solid this entire season, inside, outside, giving them a 2-headed monster down low to make them tough. And then for me, one of the biggest pieces of this team is Rickea Jackson. When Rickea Jackson is in her bag, I was able to talk to her yesterday after the game and say, girl, you in your bag. What's your comfortability like? Because she's getting to her spots, and because of that and getting downhill, it's opening up her 3 ball. She started slow from 3, but she finished up 4 for 8, making 4 of her last 5 threes, and she is the key. If she plays well, the Sparks are tough to beat. But when she doesn't, they struggle. So hopefully they can keep her going. But shout out Julie Alleman and Julie Van Loo, just 2 point guards. Like, I know the point guard position on the guy side is much different. They're just pretty much shooting guards with ball handling responsibilities. But if you watch the W, it's pure point guards who may impact the game with only 4.6 assists, but controlling the tempo, pushing the ball ahead, getting a lot of hockey assists. Julie Alleman, Julie Van Loo has really helped right the ship for the Sparks at that position. And that's why they're being successful. And they still got Cameron Brink on the way. She was on the court pregame doing her thing, but I'm excited about what the Sparks are doing. Coach Lynn Roberts, she had a system. We're going to open the floor, and they just had to deal with a lot of injuries early, but everything is falling into place. Let's see. Tomorrow night, they have another matchup against the Connecticut Sun. And if you watch the W, you know they are probably the worst team in the WNBA. So if the Sparks can make it 4 straight and get to 10-14, that confidence starts to build, and it's going to give them an opportunity to kind of make some noise. So shout out to the Sparks, and shout out to the WNBA, man. If you haven't tapped in, go and do so. I'm not doing it because that's my job to cover the Sparks and, you know, things like that. I'm doing it because as a true basketball fan, I like every level of hoop, and I like to see what they're doing there. Let's take you from the hardwood to the baseball diamond, and I got to keep it LA here. And I just want to shout out one thing, as you know, we're after the All-Star break now. Everything's starting to rev up. My Angels just got swept by the Mets. Get it together, Halos. You're only 4 games out of making some real wild card noise. But Ohtani, Shohei Ohtani, Showtime Ohtani, whichever way you want to call him, I've been saying that he is the star of stars in baseball. He is the new Barry Bonds. The only difference is he's not black and he don't speak the greatest of English, but he is the new face of baseball, and the guy is a star. He may be the biggest star in sports in LA. With LeBron on his way out very soon, it's going to be a Shohei time. I love Luka, of course, but it is Shohei. A guy that can pitch and hit home runs is must-see TV. He has tied the Dodger record with not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 straight games with a home run. The guy is just great to watch. He is somebody that is you have to pull up if you're in LA to a Dodger game, because you might miss something special if you don't go and watch that man. So shout out to Shohei Ohtani. Keep doing what you're doing. The Dodgers picked up an early win today with a Freddie Freeman walk-off hit, but the Dodgers look dangerous. They have the best player in the game in Shohei Ohtani, and he is must-see TV. Once he learns English and can get that down really good, man, he is going to be a piece, a weapon in American sports because Shohei is a super duper star. And let's take you from the baseball diamond. Now we move on to the NFL. And once again, shout out to everybody tapping into the Mykell Mathieu Show here, Facebook, YouTube, X, Instagram, TikTok. Much love to you guys. Always appreciate you. And that's why I bring you this energy, and that's why I bring you this great show, because you guys tap in and y'all show me love. But in the NFL, I have to shout out the Honey Badger. Tyrann Mathieu has retired after a illustrious career. I believe he should be a Hall of Famer. I don't know what's going to happen, but Tyrann Mathieu, yes, he shares my name. According to conversations, that may be some type of kinfolk over there. Still looking into that, but shout out to him. Great career. One of the all-time great tapes when it comes to college with his work at LSU. That man was special. Then he got to the league, did some really solid things with the Cardinals, was over there with the Texans. But I got to show love because what he was able to do with the Kansas City Chiefs was out of this world. And that guy deserves all the love and respect because he truly brought that championship swagger. And he is a baller. And like I said, I believe he's a Hall of Famer, but we're going to see what's going to happen. But he was a key piece to the Chiefs winning that Super Bowl, the first Super Bowl in 50 years, and helping them get back to another Super Bowl game. He brought championship swagger that set the tone for the Chiefs defense, and that's why they are great as they have been. And he is a big piece, but I hated to see him leave the Chiefs, but I know how the contracts work. He had to go get his bread. But, man, that guy is a special player, and he called it quits. Louisiana's very own, Louisiana's son, was able to retire with that team. So kudos to him. Shout out to ESPN. It may make a major deal where they acquire NFL Red Zone and the NFL Network. They're saying the deal is rumored to be $2 billion, and it will be a massive move because we know a lot of people watch Red Zone more than they actually watch CBS and Fox. So it will be big to see ESPN bring them in, Red Zone and NFL Network. But, as long as that football thing is going, I'm loving it. So let's take you away from sports because here at the Mykell Mathieu Show is more than just your typical sports show. We talk about everything here. When I say we, that means me and maybe some future guests that will join us. But entertainment world, Fantastic Four drops tomorrow or Friday for some. I can't wait to check it out. I know it's going to be great. I'm really a fan of it. It's supposed to set the MCU right and get it all the way towards where it's supposed to be so that we can prepare for the Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. So I'm excited for that. I'm going to watch it this weekend. I'll be back either Friday or next Monday to talk about what I felt about what I saw. Tyler, the Creator in the hip hop world, he dropped a surprise tape. And if you like Kanye and some of the Yeezus and 808s and some other stuff, you're going to really like this project. As you know, Tyler is a little different. He's a Hawthorne kid, Hawthorne, California, baby. But he's a little different. But I liked it. I was able to play through it a couple times, and it's a cool little vibe, right? It's not GNX. It's not like that to me. It don't give me that type of feel, but it's a project that I'm gonna be able to go and play some tracks here and there. But Tyler continues to get some solid numbers for solid drops. But like I said a week ago, I like what the Clips did. I like people having these old school rollouts. That's what I miss from artists. But some people get away and they drop the surprise tapes, and it's cool with me. I gotta say, Drake and Brian, is that beef that real? And this is just my take on it, right? I honestly think that Brian just likes music. Like, I don't think he listened to Not Like Us and was like, oh, this is going to hurt Drake's feelings. This is going to make Drake feel some type of way about anybody who's listening to it that's connected with him. I just think Drake, LeBron was like, man, it is a fire track. Kendrick on the West Coast slap. Like, I gotta rock with this. I live in LA. I'll be outside enough to know how this feels out here. When Drake was dropping his diss records, fire, fire, fire on X. And I just think that Kendrick had better records. And Bron was like, I rock with it. So to see all of the fans going crazy, bashing Bron and making people pick a side, I hate that. I listen to Kendrick Lamar. I listen to Drake. I'm a fan of LeBron. I'm a big fan of Kobe Bryant. You can be fans of both sides without having to split everything apart. And I just think Bron is a fan of music, and now he might be like, okay, now I'm gonna rub it in. But before, I just think he like, man, Kendrick created a wave that the West Coast ain't had, that the West Coast needed, and he's making it happen. So I have to join this. I'm a Laker. I have to support this guy and his fire. And if you don't know the history, Bron has been tapped into Kendrick for a long time. So he has been a Kendrick fan. Hell, I've chopped it up with Bron about hip hop there at the crypto.com arena, where when Absol just dropped the Herbert project, and he's somebody that loves hip hop. And I just think y'all are taking this way too far. Bron just loves hip hop, and Kendrick and Not Like Us is one of the biggest songs in the last 10, 15, hell, maybe in all of hip hop. It's one of the biggest songs ever, and it's probably Kendrick's biggest song, and he's a huge Kendrick fan, so don't take it too far. It just is what it is. I hate that him and Drake got this beef. Hopefully they can figure that out, and they fan bases can figure it out. But hey, I just think the man likes music. I think y'all are going too deep and going too far. He just likes music. But here, let me finish off with this. R.P. Malcolm Jamal Warner from the Cosbys. I remember on an episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and man, it just sucks to lose your life the way that he did. But rest in peace to him. Prayers out to him and his family. Thank God that his daughter is safe. And it's just more lessons to tell you to love yours. And speaking of the cruise, I was on the cruise with the fam, and it was just a great time to be with family, because you never know when that's it for somebody, to where one trip you seeing them and you loving on them, then the next trip they not even there. So love on your family, and just whatever time you can get to enjoy with them, do exactly that, because life is precious and you can go any day. But I thank you guys for tuning in. I got some other stuff to do, but y'all know I'm back with you Friday, the Mykell Mathieu Show. Tell your friends, your mama, your daddy, your auntie, your uncle, your cousins, your grandparents, whoever it is, let them know to tap in with the Mykell Mathieu Show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, like you see below, here with the Misfits. And I can't wait to see what's going to come up. The sports world is crazy. It's always forever going. Entertainment news, always forever going. And Mykell Mathieu has you covered. I see you guys on Friday. Hey, enjoy your day.
Feeling like Tyson with it. Got out Tyson with it. Only for the night, I'm kidding. Only for life, yeah, only for life, yeah, only for life. Let's get it. Hit that shoulder, I know what coming over me. Backstroke overseas. I know what you need. Already